the beginning of the gentle trap. In ancient times, there was a trick specifically designed to deceive men. They would target old men without wives. And once they got their hands on you, they could take your life. Trust me, by the end, you will definitely be chilling down your spine and breaking out in a cold sweat. I met her in a tea house. She was wearing a plain cloth dress that had been washed until it was pale, with cuffs that had become frayed. She was holding a tea tray and bowing her head. Yet she would always steal a glance at me. At that time, I had just fled from the north to this small town, with only a few coins on me. I found a job as a doorkeeper in an escort agency. Life wasn't great, but it wasn't so bad that I would starve to death. She is a distant relative of the tea house owner. Her family has long been gone, leaving her to live in a stranger's home. I always feel sorry for her when I see her cautious demeanor. She doesn't avoid me either, often taking the opportunity to sit down and talk with me when she brings tea over. We haven't spoken much, but it feels like we've known each other for a long time. Later, she told me that there was an empty house outside the town, which she had rented with her savings. It was cheap and quiet. She said, "If you don't mind living there, move in and we can save some money together." I moved in, and she cooked and washed clothes without a single complaint. When I was sick, she secretly went out in the middle of the night to fetch my medicine. For the first time, I felt that this wandering life could also have a home. One day, she came running back in tears, her clothes torn, knees bruised, and face smeared with tears. She said, it was the butcher in town who took advantage of me while I was delivering tea. My blood boiled at the words, and I immediately picked up a stick and rushed into the butcher's shop. I was no match for the butcher, and I was quickly knocked to the ground, bleeding from my nose and mouth, and fainted. When I woke up again, she was kneeling in front of my bed, tears falling onto my face. She choked up and said, "It's all my fault, I dragged you into this." I leaned forward and gently touched her hair, saying, "It's not your fault." She nodded and said, "Let's not get into trouble again, okay?" I believed her. The second paragraph, lethal tenderness. I was badly injured. Yet she wasn't in a hurry to give me medicine. She was waiting to see if I would die on my own. When I didn't die, she slowly began to take action. She prepared the medicine, claiming it was a chi-boosting formula, which was prescribed by a doctor. I drank it obediently and lay down. Every time I finished drinking, my brain felt like it had been soaked in water, and I felt extremely groggy. Until that night, I slept so deeply that I almost forgot to breathe. I didn't see how she came in, nor did I see that she was holding that wet white face cloth in her hand. She bent down and gently covered the gold on my face, her fingers pressing firmly. And her movements were not fast, I gradually became aware. But it felt like I was being pressed underwater, unable to move or shout. My mind grew lighter and lighter, while my body grew heavier and heavier. As if I had stepped into darkness, I died very quietly. When the coroner conducted the autopsy, he said that I had suffered from qi and blood deficiency, with a recurrence of old injuries, and thus died of illness. She got her neighbors to testify that I was injured by the butcher, lay in bed for 3 days, and then died, wearing mourning clothes and kneeling in front of the county government. She cried so hard that she even believed her own story. The county magistrate felt pity and immediately ordered the butcher to be arrested and interrogated. The butcher's family panicked, knowing that if the case was confirmed, they would face severe consequences, if not death, at least a severe punishment. So they hurriedly sent someone to deliver silver and kowtowed to admit their mistake. She remained calm and said, "People have died, whether it's due to injustice or fate. How can I, the woman, live on in the future?" The third paragraph, the perfect ending. The butcher's family paid 50 liang of silver to settle the case privately. She accepted the money and withdrew the lawsuit. The case file was sealed, and the body was buried. I left quietly, without even leaving a tombstone behind. She took the silver and moved to the south of the town, opening a tea shop. She didn't see a man for 3 years, observing filial piety. The whole street said she was a chaste woman. Some said her life was bitter, while others said she was resilient. But only I knew, her life was neither bitter nor resilient. She had calculated it early on. She calculated that I would trust her, that I would shield her, and that I would fly into a rage for her. At the moment when I trusted her the most, she sent me off, neatly and cleanly, saving my life. The terrifying thing about this scheme is that she has never told a single lie. She just cleverly exploited my sympathy, my pity, and my protective instincts. She made me willingly give everything for her, including my life.